Hi everyone, welcome to the Mind, Money and Body podcast. Today we have Mikel Mangold with us. Michael is the founder of Dream Big and Impact. It's a community of scientists, lawyers, engineers, doctors, artists, sociologists, and entrepreneurs from all over the world. And Michael has been a thought leader, in the innovation space, and he has been expressing his viewpoints on a lot of interesting subjects like diversity and innovation strategy. So, welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you, Vikram. It's a pleasure to be here today and sharing a little bit of knowledge and motivating the people in these difficult times we live in today. I think we all need the same kind of wisdom to keep going and push forwards. Thanks for being here.
That's great. So, Michael, you moved from Silicon Valley recently, and I know that you have been talking about, and we have some discussions about getting comfortable with uncomfortable, coming out of comfort zone and doing something really different, something really, really innovative, and something which really create an impact on the society. So what is your viewpoint in terms of how people can really come out of their comfort zone? Sometimes people they have no choice but to come out of the comfort zone, but most of the times it's our own decision that we really need to move forward in order to grow and come out of that comfort zone. So what is your viewpoint how people can look at this particular subject?
Yes, totally. I think it's a kind of advice we know from every leaders in the space. They said that magic happens out of the comfort zone. But it's not something that everyone is doing. Why? Because humans have different needs, right? We need safety, we need security, we need to know what is going to happen tomorrow and taking care of the family. We need growth, we need connections, we need love. So there's a lot of different needs that humans want. And depending on your experiences, your how you grew up in your childhood and your friends, on your environment, you're going to decide if you prefer security and comfort over surprise, uncomfort, but maybe growth. And that really depends on how you grew up, who are your parents, and the friends you have right now. I've learned that through different experiences, I've learned a tremendous amount of information and also about myself, right? And I believe that when we change environments every year, every month, we actually learn so much of ourselves that when we start doing that, we keep doing it again and again because we grow so much through it. And I think the people that are self-aware of who they are today are going to be the change maker of the 21st century. Self-awareness is something we need to cultivate. It's something we need to teach people how to do it. And this go through experiencing a lot of different experiences and going out of the comfort zone.
Completely agree. Yeah, so that's true that everyone looks for certainty, but yes, today like Corona, it has
Yep.
again, told us that there is nothing like certainty in this world. So you have to be flexible and anything can happen. Nobody knows, nobody can predict the future, what comes forward. So yeah, that's true. In terms of innovation, you have been a thought leader in innovation space, and that's really exciting. You are based out of France and Europe, which is of course a hub for innovation. A lot of new good things coming out of this particular region in the world. What is your outlook in terms of innovation?
Yes. So the first thing I want to say is that the time we live in right now is very, very exciting. Why? Because for the first time in history, we start to collaborate on a global basis. Every country is starting to establish collaboration. And let's take a precise look at the pharmaceutical industry. If we look 100 years back, you had maybe 5 to 10 players in the entire world. You had Switzerland that was growing up with all the pharma companies, a few companies in Germany, such as Merck, Bayer, or other companies like that. And today, you have startups that are popping up from every country. And that is completely changing the game of how we work, how we bring ideas, how we actually, just innovate. And innovation is bringing new ideas and methods. And today, the way we bring new ideas and methods is completely different than 20 years ago or even 50 years ago. But this is an opportunity. The opportunity here is that everyone in this world right now with an internet connection is able to collaborate with anywhere in the world, to raise funding. That's also the first time in history we can do that from any places in the world. And this is going to revolutionize society. I'm really super excited. And let's not forget that innovation 30 years back, for instance, in the pharmaceutical industry, was to bring a scientific ideas that was costing, $2 billion, for instance, to implement a new drug. But today you can bring digital ideas, and digital ideas are needed for society and for everyone, but also very easier to implement than any other scientific ideas that we had in the past. So everyone can be part of this new revolution, revolution of digital ideas in this world. And it's super exciting because everyone in the world can start to be entrepreneurs.
I can't agree more. That's true. And most of the times it's said that, and it's a perception that innovation is something about really different, or, it's like, taken as something which is like too capital intensive. But in my view, of course, like, as you said, innovation can be about little things, some ideas which can be implemented digitally, or even little things which can change our lives, which can improvise our lives. So there are even little things I see that if that can be innovated or done in a different manner, that will literally change and improve our lives. So yeah, innovation is not about just science or doing something like Elon Musk. Not everybody can be Elon Musk or launch SpaceX or do some really cool things like that, what he's doing. But yes, even if there are people who are doing something little innovation, that will create a huge impact in overall. So even
and very, I want to add to that. I think when we think about innovation, we think about these big leaders that are changing the world, such as Elon Musk, such as other CEOs from other companies, or even Richard Branson that has now is supervising over 400 companies. But what is very important to have in mind is that they all started very small. And to go big, it was to start with a vision and aspiration. And then they were so inspiring that they were able to collaborate on a massive scale. And through collaboration, they were able to impact the world. But let me tell you one thing, it's very hard to start small, and it's very scary to go big. So, that's kind of the perception that I realized for myself. When you start small, it's kind of very, annoying to see that you don't get results, you don't grow as fast as you wanted. But if you start to scale, you're also very afraid, to get more visibility. What are you going to do if 80 people want to work for you? What are you going to do with all that? And that's, I think, the mindset to have in mind is you really have to start with a purpose, a mission, and a problem you want to solve in the world. And with that state of mind, you can start to innovate, on a very small scale. But if you keep the mission in mind and being agile whenever new events are coming in, you can start to scale and to impact the world, such as Elon Musk.
Super, literally very inspiring. Yes, so we have to start with the end in mind, what we want to achieve, what's the purpose. Yes, these are literally very good points. Thank you so much. Now I'm touching upon another very interesting subject which you have been talking about, that's diversity. And I really want to share your viewpoints in terms of what do you think, how diversity can create an impact on a business and on the economy of a country and the world economy. So what is your viewpoint in terms of diversity?
So the really positive thing that we are facing right now in society is that since 60 years, we didn't really take a look back of how important is diversity. We know it's important, but society is really waking up again. And there is now, for the first time as well, like for the last 10 years, companies that are starting to collect data to show that diversity is actually impacting innovation, impacting productivity, and also even product implementation in new countries or new emerging economies. BTG has an amazing article. I don't have the data in mind, but they have a tremendous amount of data to show that if a board of a company has diverse backgrounds, they are more performant. McKinsey collected a bunch of data around that as well. And the point is that we know diversity is important, but it's not just, like fun to say it. It's like proven by data and science that if you have a diverse team, you're going to outperform all your different competitors. I mean, everyone that is in an international environment is going to experience it. In my case, as you said, I was in the Silicon Valley. And why Silicon Valley is so innovative for 50 years now? Silicon Valley didn't start, with a big innovation, right? I mean, 100 years ago, Silicon Valley was absolutely nothing. But history has made that with the golden rush in the 80s, 50s, all our people from all around the world started to fly to San Francisco, and they actually stay there. So today, because of the gold rush, you have Philippines, Vietnamese people, Chinese people, Korean people, Japanese, all the Europeans are there as well. And then you get this huge melting pot that made San Francisco a diverse and unique city. And through that, through these different backgrounds, people started to work together and get these amazing ideas. And that's why Silicon Valley is so innovative. And I believe diversity should be almost one of the most important factor to put when you start to build a team for innovating and impacting the world.
Yeah. These are great inputs. So what are the kind of books you read, Michael? You have traveled so much and you have studied in more than 4 countries, if I'm not wrong. You have worked in different countries and you have such a diverse experience. What are your reading habits? What do you suggest people or young business owners or people who want to really make a difference? What kind of books they should be reading? Any particular books you would like to suggest?
Yes, so I'm going to target now the audience of people that are interested in maybe science, technology, and really want to implement, ideas to impact the world. For that, honestly, I was truly inspired by the book of Dave Asprey that is called Game Changers. In this book, he collected answers from more than 500 interviews of, global leaders, and I found tremendous inspiration in this book. In that book, I found a tremendous amount of new leaders that I wanted to follow, including Navin Jain. He published a book that is called Moonshot. I read it. I personally loved it so much. And recently, I'm currently reading the book "The Future is Faster Than You Think" by Peter Diamandis. He's the founder of Singularity University, X Prize Foundation, and he's working with all the big leaders in science and anyone in the world. And then, I think you get ideas, you get the business models in mind, but what you need to cultivate is your mindset. You need to cultivate a mindset of abundance, a mindset of unlimited possibilities. And for that, you need to self-develop yourself. And for that, I recommend Tony Robbins. I recommend Vishen Lakhiani with the company he has is called Mind Valley. Amazing. You have get fantastic course in that. I recommend Jim Quick. Jim Quick is a he's training your mind to learn faster and things like that. So that's, I would say, 6-7 recommendation. I have more for that. I realized that this is the power of our generation. Today, we can access to the knowledge of these experts with podcasts, with books, with social media. We can consume the content and join communities sometimes for free with these people that are all ready to impact the world. So really get you good friends, because you are the average of the 5 people you must surround it with. Get 5 good friends online that are going to push you up, to the top.
Amazing. So I'm going to include Game Changers in particular, and definitely, all the other suggestions. I have been tracking Tony Robbins and Vishen Lakhiani, Mind Valley, but really surprising that I haven't read Game Changers as of now. I have read like thousands of books, and every day, I read something or the other. But thank you so much for me as well. This is very precious, and for our audience, of course, there are a lot of great inputs. I'm going to include, all these links in the description for these books, and I will try to find out, some interesting podcast of Tony Robbins in particular, because he has been like a really inspiring thought leader. I have no words for Tony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
These guys are literally making.
Yeah, Tony Robbins was my first personal development inspiration that was back in 2000, I would say 16. And since that, I was listening almost only to him for 1 year. And then I went to UPV, the seminar is doing in 2017. And there I met all the ambitious people of the world, and they show me who else can I follow. And since then, I'm following a lot of people. But Tony Robbins was the kind of the spark that I had for self-developing myself and to grow and to learn more. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So we are on the same page, and I'm really sure that our audience would also like to just go through all the material which we are going to put in the description. That's great. What is your healthcare regime? Because in this podcast, I literally try to cover not just the financial success, but we also talk about your mental and physical wellness, because even that is much more important. Physical material success is followed by your physical and your mental well-being. So that's why you have given such great thoughts about innovation, financial success, which is interrelated. We have spoken about these books which are about our mental fitness, mental gymming. Now we are coming to physical fitness. So what is your viewpoint? What do you do? What is your advice in terms of physical wellness?
Yes. So, let me tell you a story. When I was 15, I was just starting a relationship with an amazing girl that I had back in time. And her father, he had financial success. He was engineer in Switzerland, amazing country. He has an amazing house. And, and her daughter was amazing at school as well. But then a few years later, what he did, he committed suicide. And I think we all know someone that that committed suicide. And to be honest, even 2-3 weeks ago, one of the person I know, his brother also committed suicide. So we live in a society today where we get bombarded by information, we get bombarded by advice from all the people wanting to influence our life. And the key to survive is to be clear about what do we want of our life. And I think healthcare, being healthy, should be everyone's number one priority. So what do I do personally to stay healthy? First, I know healthcare and health is my priority. So that's for me, no discussion. So every day I have a non-negotiable thing with myself, which is 10 minutes. I need to do anything, walking, yoga, school workouts or gym, 10 minutes. Even if it's 10 minutes, like non-negotiable, I need to do it. When I have more time, I try to do 1 hour to 2 hours. But, I play basketball my entire life. So I got this habit. And psychology says you need to do something 3 months to get it as a habit. And I think the most difficult thing is to get something that is maybe non-comfortable, such as, doing abs or core workouts for 3 months, keeping it, even if it's like, we don't want to do it, we have to do it. And after 3 months, it became a habit. And you know what? When you do it, when you're active, when you wake up in the morning, you do it. Science says, when you work out, you have like what is called BDNF, brain derived neurofactor, and this activates your brain. This activates your learning process, so you're gonna be more performant, more efficient in your daily life. So just do it for 3 months. You're gonna feel the difference, and now you will never give up. Like healthcare is going to be your secret for being performant for 20 or 30 years, right? And not just 1 year and then getting burnout and commit suicide.
Amazing. Great points, Michael. And it's such a pleasure talking to you. And you have really, provided such useful points to our audiences. I'm sure that, our audience are going to like this. And if you have any comments, please let us know. If you want to ask something, Michael is available, and, we can go back to Michael. And if you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll talk about that in our future podcast. And again, thank you so much, Michael. It's a real honor to host you, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much for this podcast. It was amazing. And please, I would love to chat more with the audience. So if you have any questions, let me know. It was amazing. Thanks.
Surely. Thank you so much.